Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. This is Grady Hooker, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey!
So we start off Raw with classic Edge and Christian, and Brock Lesnar.
At least he didn't forget the championship this time.
No, he had the title with him.
Whoever's job it was to make sure that he carried the title out with him last week, forgot, and needed to be shot for it.
Fair enough on that. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know if it was a producer thing or if he just didn't bring it out to the side with him or what, but...
They made an extra special... They realized their mistake and made extra special point to point it out when he came out for his second appearance that night.
Yeah.
But it was... But at least this time he didn't forget it.
No. And then John Cena, and then another 15-minute segment to set up absolutely nothing. I love how we're going back to the whole Raw starting off with a 20-minute segment.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling that's what we're going to see because of what happened at the end of the show.
Yeah. Spoilers, the new year doesn't change anything. In terms of the 20-minute segment, it does change lots of things. But we will get there. What do we got? Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler versus US Champion Rusev in a champion versus champion match.
The match was pretty good. And I felt it kind of protected both champions. You didn't have to put Ziggler over Rusev to end Rusev's streak. And you protected Ziggler by having him win the match by disqualification.
Yeah. And it also helped set up the Ryback-Rusev match.
Yeah, and what about that promo Ryback did after the match?
Yeah, it's his guided tour of his career.
I really liked it. Yeah, 'cause, he felt real.
Yeah.
And
It was definitely an effort to humanize the guy.
and it's right. This version of Ryback seems to be working because the crowd absolutely ate him up every time.
Yeah. I think they may have finally found the balance with Ryback.
Yeah, because they've not put him in squash matches over and over again, which is what got him in trouble the first time.
And they haven't put him with Curtis Axel.
Yep.
But, so hopefully they keep that going. This is probably the Rusev match that's been the hardest for me to pick, if they're going to go with one-on-one. Because I'm not sure if this is the right time for Rusev to lose, or if Ryback's the right guy, but you don't want to stop Ryback's momentum. But then again, I don't also see Ryback getting any championship title shots after what happened at the whole next week on Raw.
Yeah, so it's a big question mark. We'll have to see what's going on here. I just hope they don't back off on him, on Ryback. Or even worse, turn him.
Oh, God.
Because they have something going here with them. Ryback may not ever be the top guy, but he has the passion for the business, and he has learned in things to get better in what he's doing.
Yeah.
The guy is not Goldberg by any stretch of the imagination. Goldberg could do three things really well, and the rest of the stuff he had to be led on. He could do the spear well, he could do the jackhammer, and he was a dominating presence. But Ryback can talk. Ryback has the ability to put on good matches without having to be led on through it. And I just feel that Ryback could be a major player if grown properly.
Well, I know after his first run, we all thought that was it for him.
Yeah. It just took a reboot. That's all it took.
So what do we got now? Nikki Bella versus Natalia.
And that pretty much kills any thoughts that we had of maybe Natalia facing Nick for the title.
I don't know, though. It keeps the storyline going with the whole Tyson Kidd, Bella's. That could just be a Total Divas thing.
Could be. But it seems like this match pretty much just killed that.
I watched Total Divas. Maybe Natalia's in trouble for those pot brownies she ate. You gotta watch the show. Paige did it. I think that storyline's playing out possibly next week on Raw.
Who from the Total Divas can take down the champ? I think that's what we're going to end up with.
So the Usos got their titles back.
Yeah, they got the titles back. I'm all right with it. I'm not overly excited about it, but it was probably getting close to time for Miz and Mizdow to lose the titles anyway. And there really isn't anybody better than the Usos to take the titles from Miz and Mizdow.
Yeah. I don't know. We could give it to Kid and Cesaro. But
they were heels, so that didn't exactly work out.
It always works out.
But giving the titles to the Usos gives an avenue for it.
True. I don't know what's happening in the tag team division.
All we know is something is rising.
Ha ha ha. It's funny. And all we know that is, while that's rising, JBL's going to be trying to squish it back down into the pan. That was a next week on Raw reference.
Yeah.
So it's time to go into our classic entrance theme. It is Ultimo Dragon's WCW theme. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. Grady and Josh. Did you know that Cesaro doesn't care about not connecting with the crowd?
Yeah, and apparently there are 4 ropes on the ring.
But I'm guessing this harkened back to the Stone Cold Steve Austin interview of Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. But this was bad. This was very bad. He wanted to come out as something better than he was, and he missed. Where Ryback's promo hit it out of the park, this was a dud. Complete, total dud.
I will agree with you on that one. But then we got Bad News Barrett to deliver some bad news with the bullhammer.
And it gave me some hope that, because I've always thought Barrett might do well in a face role.
He was over with the crowd.
Bad feeling. I have a punny bad news feeling.
Well, does this come from watching next week's Raw?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, as with you, when he was in his heel role, he got quite over, and it was obvious that he was enjoying being over. And I always thought it would look just better.
And, yeah, it's just... so I always thought, even when we was in Nexus Wade Barrett mode, that I thought there was something that could be done that could be a good face. So, I've always felt that. I don't know why, to be honest. But I felt Barrett could play a good face.
Yeah. I don't think they've ever given him that shot, have they?
No, and that's what I thought was the beginning. This was going to be the beginning of. I also love the shout out to DDP at the beginning of the promo, of Barrett's promo, because that was a nice little throwback.
Yeah.
So the match was all right. It was short though.
So I don't know. After seeing this, you'd imagine he was going to go on a face run, but then after seeing Raw, not so much. Next week's Raw.
More the same, which is quite a theme for the episode.
Yes, I'll just give my general opinion without spoilers. It felt like you just got an episode from about 9 months ago and just played that.
Minus Daniel Bryan.
Fair enough. Luke Harper versus Jack Swagger.
This wasn't a good match. Harper's a good wrestler, and Swagger, if nothing else, is a good wrestler. So this came out as a good match.
Yeah. I think in those Harper's
the fans just weren't into it though for some reason.
I don't know why. But I think Harper is slowly proving himself and showing that he deserves to be up there. Especially when he's putting on matches with Ziggler.
So Harper's definitely part of the future. It's just a question of how far will he get.
Yeah. That's always the question. But I think as long as he keeps putting on good matches, he should be alright. Then again, I would have thought that about Eric Rowan, but...
Yeah, Rowan's character's pretty much killed.
Rowan's been pretty much killed.
Yeah. And he's also been sauteed and fried.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. Especially if you've watched next week's Raw, just watch the final segment. That's all I have to say. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins.
It was a good match. Reigns and Rollins have some chemistry working together. Probably part of that is going to be being teaming for so long.
Yeah.
They were former champions, tag team champions after all.
But we always knew that Big Show was looming, right?
Yeah, he was on commentary, so we knew he was going to get involved. This match was not going to get involved.
Has anyone just been a commentator, just gone out, commentated the match, and then walked off at the end of it without interfering?
Yeah, it does happen from time to time. Usually it results in a stare down at some point after the match is over.
That counts. That's interacting still. But, yeah, Big Show Roman. I'm not sure if we're going to see a singles because he's going to be busy with the Rumble, but...
Yes. Actually, I do have an answer for that.
Oh, you do?
CM Punk, when he was injured and was unable to wrestle, but was on commentary.
Oh, yeah, yep. I'll agree with that. Fair call. But, with the Royal Rumble, I'm not sure. They'll probably just shove the both of them in the Rumble match.
Yeah, my guess is they'll probably do a last man standing between Big Show and Reigns, just to give the question as whether Reigns will actually win the main event match or not. Maybe even have him carted out of the arena on a stretcher to give the illusion that he's not going to win the match.
So you're going to pick Roman Reigns as number 30 then?
Yep, and you'll win it.
Yeah. You're constantly saying that. I don't think you've ever wavered. I think you've constantly said Reigns is going to win.
I believe it. I believe Reigns is going to win this Royal Rumble, even with Daniel Bryan returning.
Believe in Reigns.
I believe him. I believe in him. Yes. He told me to believe that, and I do.
Well, he sort of foreshadowed the next segment, but Daniel Bryan came out and had to announce his future and all of the crossroads and blah blah and long lead up. Yeah, he's in the Rumble match. He's back.
Yeah. But he sold it so well. He had people believing he was done.
Especially after, in the opening segment, Christian pretty much is confirming that he's out.
Yeah, he's retired. It's been officially been announced that Christian is retired.
Psh. He's been retired for the past 2 years, hasn't he?
Pretty much. His last match, I think, was a Raw before WrestleMania 30. That's about it.
Yeah.
And that's where he got his second concussion in 7 months.
But Daniel Bryan's back. Woo! See, I'm not sure. There's always, because of what we've heard of the whole, he'll need more surgeries, etc., etc. I'm not sure if he's actually ready to come back.
Well, he said that a guy in Denver fixed his nerve damage. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna trust him, but there's always that push that sometimes people come back too early. But I'm going to trust that he's actually fixed his nerve damage. And he'll be thrown over the top rope in Roman Reigns' run. So it's time to go into our current entrance theme. It's an NXT theme. It is Kevin Owens. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So The Miz isn't the only one with a stunt double.
Yeah, Edge apparently has a stunt double. It apparently was a puppet they used on their in a network special.
Okay. I thought in those stunts that it wasn't him on Haven.
But it was just good to see the reaction between Mizdow and the puppet.
Yeah.
That was more entertaining than anything that Miz actually did during the segment, which set up our next match.
Which, quite obviously at this point, was the Ascension's debut, right? Nobody didn't think it was that.
I would have been shocked if it wasn't the Ascension.
Well, you've got this tag team who's been having promos. They've said that they're going to rise tonight on Raw. You're like, what, half an hour, 20 minutes out from the end of the show. You send Miz and Mizdow out to have a match with a tag team. Who else is it going to be?
Yeah. It's got to be the debut team. If it wasn't, it would have been stupid.
Would have been interesting to see where they were going to debut.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going to get Brodus Clay. Yeah, advertised to debut during the show and not show up.
Yeah. But the Ascension just put them away with the Fall of Man.
Yep. A lot of people don't like them because they remind them too much of Demolition and Legend and
Road Wars.
LOD.
Oh, yeah.
And Road Wars, yeah. And I'm like, come on, give them a chance.
That was a recent development, though. Like, they never had that back in NXT. They didn't have, like, the face paint and the massive things. But I'm going to give them a chance because of what I saw on NXT. This may be another one of those NXT debuts that falls flat on its face because the main roster just doesn't mesh well with them.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're probably going to see squash matches out of them for the next 3 months.
So they're getting Rybacked.
Yeah, they're going to just bring in local talent that in order to be squashed by the Ascension.
Off the train by Mexico, was it? I don't remember
Not
the
sure.
exact recall.
Um,
But, just hopefully something comes out of the Ascension. Especially since we were just talking about how shallow the pool of tag teams was. And,
yeah, the Lucha Dragons would be a good team to call up.
true. Flippy.
It would remind them that Sin Cara is actually still technically a main roster wrestler.
Since when?
Whenever they need an enhancement talent to put somebody over, like Rusev.
Good call. But we'll move on to the main event segment. Edge and Christian hosting a Cutting Edge Peep Show Cutting Edge, whatever they wanted to call it, with Seth Rollins and Big Show and Cena. It was a party.
Yes, it was. Oh, jeez.
Fast forward 15 minutes. Seth Rollins has Edge held by the neck down on his briefcase, ready to curb stomp him.
Into oblivion. They even brought up the fact that he's a father.
Mm.
They didn't actually reference the fact that he's with Beth Phoenix.
Nah, I'm not going to reference
Beth is
that.
the mother of his child.
No, they'll just mention that he's with
it was
someone.
enough of a reference so you can get it, if you know it.
Yeah, I know. I instantly, it was like, ha ha ha, sly reference. But yeah, I see why they did it. I didn't think it was a really good thing. It was like, I wouldn't really believe that Seth was gonna like absolutely kill this person. But yeah, I don't know if it's because I didn't believe in Seth or what, but yeah, it seemed overly dramatic to get the Authority back.
He did what he wanted. And Rollins played this part perfectly. He played the dirty, rotten heel perfectly in this role.
And the Authority's back. Woo.
Yay.
And is Heyman and Lesnar in the Authority or what?
Maybe they were standing there because Kane couldn't make it.
They were Kane's.
Yeah, they were Kane's replacement for the night.
That makes perfect sense. Let's place Kane with the World Heavyweight Champion. Now we're back to the same old shit we used to get. This is what we were referencing earlier when we said Raw is going to start off with the 20-minute segments. Spoiler alert, they do next week.
Actually, next week's segment is 15 minutes long.
Oh, 15! Somebody alert the presses. We got 5 more minutes.
Yeah, Triple H only talked, and Stephanie only talked for 8 minutes of that.
I love how there's someone breaking this down. But,
I'm the one that timed it.
really? You sat through and timed how much they talked for?
Yes.
How much was entrances?
I didn't count the entrance. I clicked start on my stopwatch the second they started talking.
One would assume it was a couple of minutes.
And when they were done talking, it was 8:15. So I knew it was 15 minutes long for this total segment.
Fair enough. So that is Raw. Royal Rumble, you've already said Reigns is going to win that one. But what other matches do we see on the card other than the previously announced Cena-Brock?
Well, I see the Cena-Brock match changing.
Shh, without spoilers.
Now, I've heard reports that they were going to go that way. They were thinking about going that way for a long time. So.
Yeah. If you want to know, it's out there.
Yeah. I see a match between Big Show and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Occurring. probably with some sort of extreme stipulation like last man standing.
Hmm.
Since they're both so pin off on trying to knock each other out.
Makes perfect sense.
I foresee Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose in a 3 Stages of Hell match.
Okay.
Which is what I said last week, and
Yep.
I'm not backing down from it.
You really haven't changed your opinions on the Royal Rumble for a while.
I foresee it. I probably see a tag team title rematch at the event, and that's where we'll see the boom in Miz and Mizdow.
Yay!
I could possibly even see the New Day having a tag team match.
Who've the New Day been feuding with recently? I forgot.
Well, they were feuding with Golden Stardust.
I got bored of them.
Yeah, Golden Stardust are on their way out, it looks like. But there's possibly a new team that could be stepping up to the plate for them.
Yep. Okay, well, hopefully they get a crowd reaction.
Yeah. And, yeah, they definitely need it, because that's a fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been great talking to you.
Peace.
And that's a fact. So you can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio. Our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. And I'll see you next week.